His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is here with us.
And Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, GCOA, the Chairman, Progressive Governors Forum, who doubles as the Governor of Imo State, His Excellency Hope Uzodinma, the Governor of Kebbi State, His Excellency Nasif, Honorable Bajabia Miller, the former Speaker and former Governor of Katsina State, Alhaji Aminu Masari, members of the House of Representatives here present, which include Nalaraba, Abdullahi Kontagora, and Kama, former governors, former federal legislators, honorable ministers here present, foreign affairs, information, and housing, special advisors, senior special assistants, and other officials in the villa, the National Vice Chairman of APC representing the North Central Zone, the Chairman, Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission, other very distinguished guests here present who are bona fide members of APC, but were former and founding members of CPC. Mr. President, the people you are seeing here are people that I call the founding members of the former or defunct CPC, right from 2010 up to when the merger was formed. And throughout this period, their trajectory, the signature of their trajectory had been nothing but commitment, loyalty, and camaraderie to ensure the success of APC in Nigeria. Mr. President, before I read my short speech, I would like to crave your indulgence. Given the caliber of people that are here and the kind of struggle they have had to commit themselves to in the past 10 years, a lot of them you know, one after the other, by their names. I will crave your indulgence, if time will allow, to give just 1 minute or less than 1 minute for each one to introduce himself. Right. I appreciate that, sir. With permission of Mr. President, can we start from the, table there? I want to see how long they have come in the support of this great party. Some of them were founding members, some of them were members of the National Assembly, some of them were contestants and candidates for gubernatorial elections in 2011, and so on and so forth. I thank you, Mr. President, for granting this opportunity for them to say who they are. Mr. President, I would like to read my short speech. Mr. President, permit me on behalf of the political family of our late leader and mentor, President Muhammadu Buhari, to express our profound gratitude, deep respect, and appreciation to you and the government and people of Nigeria over your kind gesture in honoring his passage. When our leader passed on, the nation grieved and mourned. At that moment of disillusionment, you became the symbol of consolation as you presided over the entire procedure for his passage. You did not only bury Muhammadu Buhari, but you honored him and ensured a befitting state burial with full military honors. Above all, your presence throughout the ceremony was comforting as it was reassuring. You did not only pray for him, but wish him Allah's rahmah in Jannatul Firdaus. Mr. President, your gesture was a powerful statement of dignity, loyalty, and legacy. For that, Mr. President, we thank you from the depth of our hearts, just like his biological family expressed when they visited you shortly after his burial. We thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, you and President Muhammadu Buhari shared more than a political alliance. You shared a vision of a Nigeria grounded in discipline, justice, economic sovereignty, and responsible governance. You were united by purpose and vision, not benefit. By a united Nigeria, not a political assemblage. Together, you conceptualized and built a foundation that makes the renewed hope agenda, which is a vision that is pragmatic, scientific, and rewarding. This is not just a slogan, but a blueprint for national restoration and prosperity. Mr. President, you've said this a number of times. This we assure you, we believe, and we will be, and that will be our focus and commitment to ensure the success of our party and your ultimate victory come 2027. To this end, Mr. President, we assure you of our full and unwavering support for you and your administration and our party, the APC, which remains our home, our platform, our pride, and our cause in order to sustain the gains and secure the future of this country. Mr. President, while commending you and your government for its efforts in promoting peace and development across the country, despite the challenges you met on ground, we call on you, Mr. President, not to relent in ensuring that every part of this country is secure, to sustain policies and reforms already in place that guarantee the continued economic well-being of all Nigerians. Your Excellency, we are with you in loyalty, in principle, and in purpose. May the Almighty God continue to grant you the strength, wisdom, and protection to lead this nation to the promised land. Mr. President, on behalf of all of us, we thank you for this opportunity of an audience with you, and we assure you that our commitment and loyalty to you and your government is irrevocable. On this note, we thank you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, the leader of the delegation and the former governor of Nasarawa State. He said, and I quote, when President
Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our leader, Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Governor of Progressive Governors Forum, the Chairman, my dear brother, the Governors of Katsina, Kebbi, and Niger, our former Governor of Katsina and Nasarawa States, the Secretary to the Government of Federation, the Chief of Staff, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Members of the National Assembly, Board President and former, members of the leadership of CPC, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you. Indeed, today is a day of history. The very first day that the former members of CPC gathered a large number to visit our president, to show support and to show appreciation for what he has been doing. I want to seize this opportunity, Mr. President, to assure you of the unconditional support of all former CPC members to your administration. I'm sure from the caliber of people you see here, you will be convinced that all those saying that CPC is broken, CPC is nowadays administration is just a lie. More than 90% of those who were active during the time of CPC are represented here. I would like to seize this opportunity as well to appreciate you and thank you immensely, Your Excellency, for the support you have given to our late former president, who attempted to be president several times, but God did not answer his prayer until when you came into the picture in 2010 to offer a hand of partnership to him, a partnership that resulted in actualizing the dream of every CPC member. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for the role you played in 2010, and thank you for all the support you gave our former leader. We will truly not forget that support you have given, which today every CPC member is proud that even though when we fielded him under CPC, he couldn't win, but with the combined effort of your humble self and him and other party members, we were able to realize that dream of making him our president. Mr. President, we also want to thank you for the unprecedented support you have given to the members of the late president during his demise. It was unprecedented in the history of Nigeria for any former president to be accorded such kind of respect. The time you took, the people he sent to go all the way to United Kingdom to give their last respect and bring the cause back to Katsina, and the number of times that you and the First Lady made both to Katsina and Kaduna to pay your last ride is truly commendable, Your Excellency. We appreciate all that you did. May Almighty God reward you, and you should know that we are together with you today, we will be with you tomorrow, and will be with you forever. Your Excellency, I want to, on behalf of the whole entire former CPC members, inform you and assure you that the CPC families in every state, we have all resolved that we will go back home and create former CPC members for Asuwaju in all our states. And that movement will also be cascaded down to local governments in all our states and to all wards and to all polling units, so that we will continue to gather support for you, for your government, your administration, and for 2027, inshallah. CPC members will be at the forefront of your support and ensuring that you come back to continue with the good work you are doing to this country. Finally, Your Excellency, on behalf of all members of CPC and the whole entire families of the late former president, we also want to appreciate you for the kind of representation and the kind of respect you are given to members of CPC in this government. This is the very first time, Your Excellency, that we have 3 governors, current, that are serving under this administration that were of CPC extraction. Even during the active days of CPC, we were only having one, the former governor of Nasarawa State. But to God be the glory. Today we have 3 governors. We have so many ministers, so many members of the House of Representatives, so many chief executives who are in this government. And we believe that a lot of them, or most of them, were able to make their dreams possible because of your support to them and to the former CPC. God bless you, Your Excellency. May God continue to protect you. May God continue to be your pillar of strength. We are together and will continue to support you. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to come and share our thoughts and views with you. May Almighty continue to preserve you. May you live long to actualize all the good plans you have for this for our country. Thank you so much, sir. God bless you. God bless former CPC members. God bless Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. He underscored the
sisters and brothers. It is an emotional day for me today. Let me first of all apologize to all of you for coming late. That is the difference between Muhammadu Buhari and Bola Tinubu. No 2 persons can be the same. It will be here dead on time. To all of you, from Aminu Masari here, Your Excellencies, Tanko Hanmakura, the only governor we had there. It's a joy today to see more Diko Raja, to see my son from Niger, and to see Kevi. And we have our speaker. And our elder statesman, our brother, Suleiman, and others. Thank you very much. Now, you brought back the memory of the beginning of the alliance. When we sat down, hashing out which way we disagree to agree. To all of you, I just say thank you. It's a sweet memory. You know, for you to pull yourself together to be here and just follow up on things we've been doing. Don't worry about the threats. When I see people like you, my determination is to work harder. Yes, still together for what we believe, a progressive government that we always build on the legacies of Muhammadu Buhari. And what I can promise you is what I'm doing. Hard work, hard thinking, consulting of you. First of all, cure the economy, bring hope to the people. That is what we stood for. And that is hope is here. Is here. Thank you for believing in me. The economy is stabilized. Nobody is trading piece of paper for exchange rate anymore. When I took over, 1.9, it's 1.35, 1.45 now. It's been stabilizing there. People can predict. You don't have to know a Cardozo before you get your foreign exchange, you get your imports. What we need now is building the ship, the vessels, for export and import of our goods and create jobs for the people. There's a guarantee there. I know many of you had to suffer the initial abuse and the fear. Where are we going? We know the direction that we should go. We are going up. No, those who may not know will not know. Today I'm standing before you, I can brag that Nigeria is not borrowing, it's dying from local bank. The revenue, we have met our target of revenue for the whole year. We met it in August. I've reviewed this morning. Non-oil. If non-oil revenue is going well, then we have no fear of whatever Trump is doing. on the other side. And I've just signed off on a huge mechanization, program that every region we have a mechanized center for agric mechanization and have trainees and all of that. That is our path to food sovereignty, food security. You remove hunger, you have defeated poverty. All I can promise you is where we started and where we're going. And your children's education, the path to Nigerian recovery, we are on it. Go home, be assured. Don't let anybody threaten you of any uncertainty. We are certain we are going to succeed. That's what we believe in. The honesty in Buhari, what we inherited from him, is total commitment to justice, transparency, and success. That's all. And you have anything less than that, you will have joy at the end of this journey. And we will jointly put dime, nickel, kobo, toro together. We will build a Buhari house. That house will be a house of joy and prosperity. I thank you very, very much. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Just two quick announcements. First of all, at this point, we are going to have the family photograph. And considering the number of people
Thank you for staying with us. Tonight we focus on an issue that continues to stir debate, which is the alleged misrepresentation of Southern Kaduna by former Governor Malam Nasir El-Rufai, the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, in the 1990s.
Assalamu alaikum, Jama. Anybody who is there, anybody who is planning to be there, anybody who is going to be there, however you are going to be there, welcome to Honor Politics. Today we are going to talk about the season of all season, the season that we are in, the season of the ruling class, the season of the elite, the season of the educated. They expose the cosmopolitan. It is their season, but it is the season of what? Power. It is the season of betrayal, a season of campaign, season of murder, assassination, season of joy. As Tinubu put it, there will be joy at the end of the journey. So welcome as we explore those that will make this season seasonable. Because as we have already seen, tension everywhere, fear, is the hardest currency. Fear and money is the order of the day. In this season of politicking, there are only two currencies that matter: fear and money. We shall go into that. Those who have the monopoly, or to some extent, control or command of these two things, are those we call the elite. If you have monopoly or the capacity to command fear, or you have money or the know-how to attract money, because you don't necessarily have to have the money yourself, but can you command those that have the money to invest in you? That's where we are. The seat of power never changes. Still one president, one vice president, one senate president, one chief justice, one house leader, three senators from each state, one governor. You on and on and on. The seats never change. But one thing that is constantly changing is the number of elites that have been produced by the society is not adding up. By the day, the numbers of those who want power, the number of those who want to influence power, the number of those who want to be by power increases, but the power seat is not increasing. And what does that mean? But most importantly, in the Nigerian situation, there's another thing also that is increasing, that is poverty. And every Nigerian is becoming poorer by the day. The buying power of the average Nigerian is vanishing. And that's right there. It's an ingredient that if we're put together, change happens. Either the change that the majority want, which is the people, or the change that the elite want. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where we are today when it comes to Nigerian politics. So as we glide along, make sure you like, you share, and subscribe anytime you join this video. That's the only thing you can do. The Minister of FCT, Wike said that that's a question, a potent and pertinent question. I speak English. Where will be one contest? Which political party you be want to contest? And that question, as far as I'm concerned, has not been answered. Does that mean Obi is not going to be in the starting line? Nah, his will be. Political party for him to contest is not the problem. My demons are telling me that they are also keeping their card close to their chest. They are trying to bust them to corner to announce a party right now, and so that the attack will start. I said it before on this platform. You are a religious follower of this platform that Obi is the target, and all is going to be aiming at him. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry that is within the political class will focus on Obi. They will use every means necessary, politically speaking. I've said this before and I'll keep saying it. It's coming together by the day. As soon as he announces his political party, they will have a direction. Right now, they don't have a direction to him. They are aiming at him directly. Is not helping matter is making him stronger. His followership are everywhere. Those that are vulnerable have been targeted. But overall, the man is still going strong. But means will be disguised. Hatred, rhetoric will be rampant. Fake news, fake video, whatever you think of will be rampant from his own house to his enemy's house. The focus will be on him, on his movement. So it's a strategy that is at play. He doesn't want to put out his card out there and they destroy him immediately. So he is here. The political elite belongs to one class when it comes to Nigeria. And that class is power by oil. There's one political party in Nigeria, and that party is what? Power by oil. Oil. So it can only be in-house fight. Whatever they think they got going, we should not listen.
Remember that there were trailers line of nearly 12 miles between Ilorin and Ogbomoso at the time. We have come also to our father and the father of the land.
This guy is big.
We have some requests that we will want for you, because it's not every day that we can walk into the presidential villa and see the president. So this one that you've given us the opportunity,
that's a big nigga right there,
to ask for some requests. We have some requests. But before we ask for requests, we also have to really thank you, and I believe, like I said there, that you did it for me indirectly. This road between Oyo and Ogbomoso, it's a road that I grew up to know as a death trap. Thousands of lives, and I mean literally thousands of lives, have been lost. Thousands, if not, millions of money has been lost on that road because it was a death trap. Trailers, it's an everyday occurrence for trailers to fall on that road. And that one way or the other, you miraculously awarded the thing. What everybody, and I mean this road has been like that for over 40 years. I grew up to know the road as bad road. And you decided that this road must be done. It affected the economy of the town. It affected the economy of the country. I remember that there were trailers line of nearly 12 miles between Ilorin and Ogbomoso at the time. You just go on and continue to see trailers and trailers. I remember, to give an incident, that a trailer was coming from the north. He had goats and cattle he was transporting it to the south. But when he got to Ogbomoso, he started selling them at 10,000 naira because he said that all the animals were tired at that time and that before he gets to Lagos, they will have died. So they started selling them. So it tells you what you have done, the economy of linking the south, because we are gateway to the north. And so thank you so much for this road. It's an economic artery that you surely opened up for us. And I know that this country will benefit from it. So I want to thank you. The government also has done the 132 kVA, but the power station has been completed for so many years. But the transmission from where they call Gomo, somewhere near Ilorin, we heard that the contract has been given out. Since I came also, the Minister for Power has been there to assure us. They said they've given it to somebody else. But the city is most of the time. And Mr. President, this town is the second largest town in Oyo State. It used to be, historically, it used to be about the third largest. When you mention Lagos, you mention Kano, the other town you will mention is Ogbomoso. But because Ogbomoso is not the capital, other towns like Abeokuta, like Akure, like Ado-Ekiti, all those ones that we were bigger than, and not even to talk about Osogbo, because they were capital cities, they have now overtaken us. I do not feel that a town like Ogbomoso that comprises of 5 local governments is what makes Ogbomoso local government. Should be in the state where it is. And so, Mr. President, we would like that transmission, 132 kVA, to be connected so we can at least enjoy light a little bit in that town, because we are most of the time in darkness in Ogbomoso. So, and the major one we believe has been done, but the transmission to it. Then our water project. We do not have good running water, and Ogbomoso has 2 dams. So for us to have 2 dams and not have running water, it's something like a shame for us. And so we will want the Mr. President, for you to help us through the water resources. I met with the SGF some time ago, and I mentioned this to him last year. And he got in contact with, he told me he will get in contact with the water resource minister, but nothing has been done. We need the help of the federal government, because this is a mighty and a big town. But for other parts of the local government, where we find out that they do not have a water system, we will want, if we can choose some of those places and at least give them commercial boreholes. So, because water is life. A lot of the sickness that people go through, they are waterborne diseases. So if we can get help in all the other local governments and be able to give them water, we will really appreciate this. Another thing is we feel we need a federal presence in Ogbomoso, because one of the things federal president does is it gives people employment. The larger the head, the larger the headache. The headache we have a lot is that we have a lot of our youth a lot of people who don't have jobs, not only youths. And federal presence will at least be able, everybody wants a job in Lautech or Bowen. For a town that big, not only 2 places should they be looking for jobs. So any federal presence that we can have, it will help our town. It will help us to at least have people have basic job. And so, and once there is no job, of course, crime is high, which is what is going on in Ogbomoso now. We're thinking about our general hospital. We have one there. If we can be upgraded to an federal medical center, it will also help us a lot, because of the same thing, for jobs, for opportunities for people. We have, there is something that Agbakin helped us when he was Minister for Sport, helped to bring into the town. It's a medical facility, but they could not staff it. And the whole is a first-class hospital, but it was not staffed. And because of that, they've looted equipments in the place. And so if you can help us through the Ministry of Health, that this wonderful facility can be put into use, it will help a lot of our people. The other thing we are also looking for from the presidency is, which I have to say is, we believe a lot in your government. We believe in the ability of what you can do, because we've seen this. I live in Lagos, I live in Ibadan and Ogbomoso. We can see the impact of your vision in Lagos. And you know this, that our request is few, because instead of asking for so much, the few that we have asked for, if we can help us with this, it will surely make our people to be very happy. The other one which we have spoken to the Minister for Works is that we need now that you have done this road, it will take commercial activity out of the main major road. And we have a major road in Ogbomoso. Mr. President, this one is really in my heart, that if that road, the artery road in Ogbomoso, if it's just a 2-lane something, if it can be changed into a dual carriageway, it will open up the whole town. That is something that is important also to us. The major road in Ogbomoso, for it to be opened up. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for your time. And I want to thank the people who came with me, who are the Obas, they represent the 5 local governments of Ogbomoso individually, and the other people who came with us, the Are Musulumi, and some business people who also came with us. I've just been reminded, it was what I was trying to read out here. I'm going to say something, Mr. President. Ogbomoso mango, it does not taste like that anywhere. It's only we could not have brought it to you. It's what we, in Kotamafin Shalejuni, our mango tastes different from anywhere in this country. I don't know whether Mr. President has ever heard about that. Even if you plant it in Lagos, it will not taste the way it tastes in Ogbomoso. Even if you plant it in Oyo, it will not. We don't know something about that soil that makes the mango different. The next thing is our cashew is the best in the world. And I don't know whether Mr. President knows, because we shared this one in Ibadan. I shared it with them in Ministry of Trade in Ibadan. They were all looking at me. I said, I'm telling you the truth. Ogbomoso mango is different from anywhere in the world. Ogbomoso cashew is different. In actual fact, in Vietnam, they are in search of the cashew that comes from Ogbomoso. In Vietnam, they are interested in our cashew. So there's something about our land that gives these two products. It's what is our gold. It's our oil. It's what God gave to us. So those two things, it is the first class. So what are we asking about this? If we can have a research institute in Ogbomoso about this mango, if it can be a lot of money for this country. Because once you taste Ogbomoso mango, you don't want to taste any other thing. The same thing with our cashew. And these are exportable products. They are real cash crop that a research institute, if it is done in Ogbomoso, it will, if this is the federal presence you want to give us, we will be very happy. Because these are things they can get locally in our town. Thank you, Mr.
It's a great honor and joy for me to welcome you to the State House. I believe your prayers are with me. I welcome all of you, particularly His Imperial Majesty, whom I've known for a long time. It is a joy to see you on the throne of your forefathers. It's a great honor for me to even have you. Yeah. All the Honorable Minister for Information and other senior government officials, I'm greatly happy. I've listened to you carefully. Thank you for the credit and the recognition on the bold endeavors that we embarked on the assumption of the office from day one. Yes, we recognize it's painful initially, difficult for people to accept, but it's the same way that nature treats mankind, one lesson or the other. Help them through difficult times. Once they recognize the weakness of their own making, years of neglect and deception of self, and putting money in fake records, smuggling, and all of that, denied Nigeria the necessary revenue for progress and development. Then you are confronted again with arbitrage, trading of currency, an illusion of selling papers, corruption all over the place. And the integrity of the country and its economy was extremely and adversely challenged. We have to take those actions. We did. And with your prayer, patience, and perseverance, and great understanding, you follow us to date. We've established NEL Fund for the students, that no one will be a dropout because of level of poverty. Everybody is entitled to education. It's the greatest weapon that you can give to human beings against poverty. That's what we've been doing. We are renewing aggressively our infrastructure. And it's just 2 years. I'm glad to report to you today that the economy is stabilized. The bleeding has stopped. The hemorrhage is gone. The patient is alive. Nigeria is alive. Nigeria is respected. Nigeria is becoming a great business partner to the rest of the world. So that's all I can report to you now. On the question of the 132 kVA transmission, I've taken strong note of that. We, we with the Honorable Minister and other parties that might be involved. And I promise you will see results. The Honorable Minister of Water Resources will look at the source of waters and so many dams that are not, mechanized and irrigated with filtration. It's unfortunate what's been happening in the past. And I believe that sincerely water is life. So we will do everything to respond to that. On the question of federal presence, we will look at it, research and development. You have a good farmland, and we can create skill development. We can promote farming, agriculture, and resource development to really scale up the opportunity to grow, employ those youths, develop their skill, promote agriculture, and make us self-sufficiency and net exporters of those cashew, mangoes, and various other products. There might be other, items that of great value that can come from Ogbomoso. Your Royal Majesty, you've said it all very well, laid it out very well. We will follow. I thank you for coming. I know many people from Ogbomoso who are already feeling your modernization and great respect that you brought to the community. We work together to strengthen the traditional institution, to make it worthwhile. Thank you very much. You are welcome. Thank you. Okay, yeah, well. Sisters and brothers, it is an emotional day for me today. Let me first of all apologize to all of you for coming late. That is the difference between Muhammadu Buhari and Bola Tinubu. No two persons can be the same. It will be here dead on time. To all of you, from Aminu Masari here, Your Excellencies, Nanko Hanwakura, the only governor we had then. It's a joy today to see more Diko Raja, to see my son from Niger, and to see Kevi. And we have our speaker. And our elder statesman, our brother, Sule Aman, and others. Thank you very much. Now, you brought back the memory of the beginning of the alliance, when we sat down, hashing out which way we disagree to agree. To all of you, I just say thank you. It's a sweet memory. You know, for you to pull yourself together to be here and just follow up on things we've been doing. Don't worry about the threats. When I see people like you, my determination is to work harder. We are still together for what we believe a progressive government that we always build on the legacies of Muhammadu Buhari. And what I can promise you is what I'm doing. Hard work, hard thinking, consulting of you. First of all, cure the economy, bring hope to the people. That is what we stood for. And that is hope is here. It's here. Thank you for believing in me. The economy is stabilized. Nobody is trading piece of paper for exchange rate anymore. When I took over, 1.9, it's 1.35, 1.45 now. It's been stabilizing there. People can predict. You don't have to know a Cardozo before you get your foreign exchange, you get your imports. What we need now is building the ship, the vessels, for export and import of our goods and create jobs for the people. There's a guarantee there. I know many of you had to suffer the initial abuse and the fear. Where are we going? We know the direction that we should go. We are going up. No, those who may not know will not know. Today I'm standing before you, I can brag that Nigeria is not borrowing, it's dying from local bank. The revenue, we have met our target of revenue for the whole year. We met it in August. I've reviewed this morning. Non-oil. If non-oil revenue is going well, then we have no fear of whatever Trump is doing on the other side. And I've just signed off on a huge mechanization, program that every region we have a mechanized center for agricultural mechanization and have trainees and all of that. That is our path to food sovereignty, food security. You remove hunger from poverty, you have defeated poverty. All I can promise you is where we started and where we're going. And your children's education, the path to Nigerian recovery, we are on it. Go home, be assured. Don't let anybody threaten you of any uncertainty. We are certain we are going to succeed. That's what we believe in. The honesty in Buhari, what we inherited from him, is total commitment. To justice, transparency, and success. That's all. And you have anything less than that, you will have joy at the end of this journey. And we will jointly put dime, nickel, kobo, toro together. We will build a Buhari house. That house will be a house of joy and prosperity. I thank you very, very much. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Just two quick announcements. First of all, at this point, we are going to have the family photograph. And considering the number of people
Your Excellency,
See, those in power are busy celebrating and merry. I don't blame them because now them bring themselves come to power. Only 9, less than 10 million people. Those are usually not among the poor average Nigerians. That's what many of us don't understand. Oh, they're just few out of that million, even a few 9 billion Nigerians that they actually brought to polling votes. All their votes counted. So they are busy celebrating, just merry. That's what they be doing. Those in power, those who are outside trying to get in, are busy plotting, issuing threats, condemning every move. They did everything, but the most important thing, go and organize the forgotten people. No, they won't do that because that's a lot of work. So they employ a lot of media, content creators, journalists, and everybody just to keep complaining. Keep complaining, keep insulting, keep drawing, keep towing along the tribal line, to that, that's what those other powers are doing. And that's exactly what is going on. Nobody cares about majority. All you need is to buy few of them, and you are good. Hence the turn by turn. So now turn by turn. There's no need of actually doing the work. Or you see the opposition issuing threats from one platform to another. Nothing else but threats. Will not spend time with the people, but they'll be issuing threats. They'll be issuing threats, instigating Nigerians against themselves, just to buy time. While deals are being made for those in the private sector, making billions. There.
Deal awarded under the 2024 license. Nigeria has signed a new production sharing contract with TotalEnergies and South Atlantic Petroleum Petro, covering 2 offshore blocks in the West Niger Delta Basin. The deal awarded under the 2024 licensing round spans about 2,000 square kilometers, with TotalEnergies holding 80% and Petro 20%. The contract, the first under the Petroleum Industry Act's reformed framework, includes a $10 million signature bonus, production-linked payments, cost recovery capped at 70%, and strict community and environment. $60 billion in Director Oil, Gas and Power, Anderson, Nigeria, joining me for more on this. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Perpetua. Good morning.
Good morning to you too. Now, talk to us. What do you make of this contract?
Well,
Mr. Kolade, if you can hear me, I guess that's probably the network affecting audio and communication right there. But if you can hear me, I'd like you to tell us what you
risk. Yeah, can you hear me?
I think you can start all over. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So I was saying that it is a strategic move. It helps to build confidence, going by the fact that deep water operations themselves are higher risk operations compared to the marginal fields, and of course most of the JVs that we have. Some degree of shallow water operations therein. So again, when we think about this as a post-PIE regime sort of investment, it helps us to kind of understand that maybe investors are really seeing these in a good light compared to what they've seen before, and they now think Nigeria is ready to do business within the upstream space.
Right, let's take a dive into the PSC in question. The report says, the newly signed PSCs are aligned with reformed fiscal and governance frameworks developed under Section 85 of the PIE and, of course, Regulation 23, Subsection 1 of the 2022 Petroleum Licensing Round Regulations. I'd like you to talk to us about this and, how this sort of differs from the previous ones.
Okay, thank you very much. So apparently under the old regime of the PSCs, the interested parties, the investors and contractors would typically meet with the federal government and have conversations, and you would find that sometimes the sort of arrangements that are reached are more or less ad hoc. So they are having conversations and they're coming up with specific terms as it would favor either parties. What the new regulation does and what the PIA does with respect to the PSCs that we're now seeing thereafter is saying that we're having a standardized and some sort of codified fiscal framework. For instance, in the past, you could find a situation where some companies were entitled to some investment tax credit. operate, and he operates differently from those who could gain investment tax allowance as some sort of incentives that they would get for operating within those fields. So those are some of the little differences that you would see. And indeed, when you then look at them from a point of calculations and analysis of the numbers, it would make a lot of difference for the investors. And again, you would find that there are clearer regulations with respect to provisions around the host communities. Is more standardized. It's more it's clearer if you think about it, and if you also look at it from the point of even the licensing requirements, it's more rules based. So those are some of the changes that you would see under this new rule. In terms of decommissioning, for instance, it provides standard rules as to say this is how much you should put in a particular fund, and that's the only way you'll be able to take deductions for the fact that when you're done with your operations, you'll be able to do the proper remediation. It's not the case where you're just provisioning and then there is no funds that is being clearly set aside for that. So some of those things are now become standardized, and it aligns with what we're seeing in other parts of the world where they have advanced fields.
Right, specifically now, the fiscal provisions in this particular one include a $10 million signature bonus, production bonuses linked to, output thresholds of 35 million and 100 million barrels, and, profit oil and profit gas splits tied to cumulative production and sales. And you also have a 70% cost recovery cap. Do you think these fiscal terms sort of ensure steady revenues for the Federation, while still incentivizing the consortium to invest and perform?
Well, theoretically, I would say yes. From the point of, $10 million signature bonus is quite some sort of guaranteed receipt for the Federation, and it's some sort of modest performance. Again, when we then look at it and step away from that and look at the production bonuses, it means that the companies, the investors are incentivized to quickly begin to produce and begin to get those bonuses. We'll step away from that again and we'll look at the cost recoverability capped at about 70%. That's relatively generous, again, theoretically speaking. But in terms of the net effect and realistically speaking, it's only when we begin to see the implementation that we'll be able to certify that it really works. And what do I mean by that? We've got to be sure that metering is accurate and that reporting is accurate in terms of what production is done. Do we continue to have issues where there is oil theft, so-called, and people are not reporting what they should report? In terms of cost classification, are we getting realistic cost classification as well, or are there going to be inflated costs? If we say there should be 70% cost recovery, if the investor has recovered more than 70% because it's inflicted some cost, it means that he may have indeed recovered more than the 70%. So in terms of practical things, I think that reliable audits and, of course, enforcement would help to really see how balanced the conversation is in terms of how things are. But theoretically speaking, it looks fair on both sides.
All right, I'm going to take you to this now. I remember you already mentioned one or two of them, but I would like us to look at the several first that this contract sort of introduces to Nigeria's deepwater sector and the implication. The first is probably the fact that, this is the first PSC to comprehensively cover both crude oil and natural gas. I'd like you to speak to us about the implication. And then the contract also explicitly embed provisions for environmental remediation, which you mentioned, the commissioning, and you also talked about, host community development. So since you've talked about these two, I'd like you to focus more on the first one and tell us the implication, what it means for Nigerians.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So if you think about it again, from the point of a coverage of both crude and natural gas, what it means is that going forward, we're not just looking at a situation where it's just about the oil. What had happened in the past is most investors, most companies within the upstream sectors were more focused on the crude and were losing revenue on gas. There was so much gas flaring. Aside from the environmental impact that it had, it also meant that we're losing money when those gas reserves could have been commercialized. So what this does is that when you're getting these licenses, you know that you're responsible for exploring both oil and gas. And it then means that operators will then begin to look at how they can optimize their reservoir development, how do they monetize or commercialize gas alongside the exploration of the oil. And of course, when they're then developing their FPSOs, those are the facilities to store what they've explored. They are thinking about how to also store gas and how to pipe the gas to the stations that need it. And what that means going forward is that we could be getting into that age where, I mean, the government has declared as a decade of gas, where we're trying to make all efforts to get as much benefit as we could get from gas. And like you've said, it is a first when we then think about it from an environmental and decommissioning obligations. It's not so much about just creating a provision account, so to speak, but you've got to fund it and ensure that at the end of the life cycle of fields, you can put them back into their, I mean, to a state where it's I mean, close to how it started from a point of decommissioning, and of course, more responsibilities for both the host community and the investor from the I mean, requirements of the host community provisions under the PIA.
You know, these all sound good, and just like you said, implementation is key, and that's something we need to watch and ensure that it happens. Though a lot of persons seem to sort of, have confidence in NUPRC and the way it carries out its activities. But of course, time will tell. Now, let's look at this. Before now, we know that Nigeria, had, or let's say, I'll use the word hard. So let's believe this is a new dawn. So let's say Nigeria, used to have this challenge with production sharing contracts, which of course include inadequate metering and underreporting of production, enabling tax avoidance. We saw that, legal and regulatory implementation issues, and also foreign contractual bias. There was also the issue of unfavorable, profit sharing that sort of resulted in significant revenue loss. Are you confident that, these reforms we're saying now will adequately address these challenges that, used to affect these PSCs?
Well, again, it's really not about reforms on paper. Reforms in the implementation, they are in the drive of the agencies of government that are going to ensure that those things get done. And what doesn't get measured, they say it doesn't get done. So starting from metering, it's important that we begin to have investment in independent metering and, of course, strong auditing capacity, real-time data systems, and, of course, stricter penalties also, because it's really not about the contract or the reforms. They won't fix this legacy operational weaknesses. And I like the fact that you like to be optimistic about putting this in the past, but putting it in the past is not going to be in our heads or in our wishes. It's going to be by the relevant government agencies putting the boots on the ground and ensuring that they actually get these things done in reality. And of course, that independent verification is very key to ensuring that this gets done. If you think about it from the point of profit sharing and things around the fiscals and tax avoidance, you would also realize that we at the same time have the Nigeria Tax Act coming on stream effective January 2026. And the requirement going forward is that royalty collections will now go to the NRS, that the Nigerian Revenue Service, which is the current defunct FRS. So capacity building will be very critical in terms of getting these things done. You can imagine that some officials of the NUPRC may be seconded to the FRS, now the NRS, to ensure that things get done differently. But that handshake and the readiness, the goodwill, the political goodwill and institutional capacity to get things done will really be important for how things will be done going forward. And the readiness to ensure that we have effective enforcement, transparency, and of course, investment in metering tools or devices.
Right. So who do you think should take the lead in ensuring that these investments are, put in place? The government, private sector players, or we need to incentivize them to play more in that particular regard?
Well, I think that the head, most times when you look at where the head rots from for a fish, it's I mean the fish rots from, it's typically from the head, right? So who is the head here? is the regulator, in my view. The tone at the top is very critical, whatever it is that we're having conversations about. And I think that the regulators will have to take the initiative to say, this is how we want things run. And of course, there would have to be an handshake with the private investors to ensure that they align with those things. You would find that sometimes it is just the regulators are laxing or not doing things the way it ought to be done, that allows things to appear that it's not working as it ought to. So it's important, in my view, that we ensure that as regulators, we are holding the regulators to account to say, hey, this is what you have said. Are you asking the right questions? Are you asking for the right reports? And are you enforcing where things are not being done the way they should be done? That, for me, is very critical. And of course, we can expect that the private investors will just align whatever tone that is being said from the top.
Well, let's look at some of the reactions we've seen. So, the NPC Group Chief Executive, Bayo Ojulari, according to him, is saying that this sort of, let's say, producing 3 million barrels by 2030, and also stated that achieving that target would require not only exploration and development of new blocks, but also significant new capital inflows of up to $60 billion over the next 5 years. Is this ambitious or achievable?
Well, it's ambitious, but ambition doesn't mean that we can't attain to those things. But there are several ifs, there are several conditions, right? We must be able to get to FI, these final investment decisions for a number of projects that are on in the pipeline. We need to be able to revitalize existing fields if we're going to achieve those numbers that the GMD is referring to. We also need to attract several international players. And if you then think about it from the point of what is happening elsewhere in the world, you would find that capital doesn't sit idle. When Nigeria was contemplating whether to pass the PIA or not, some capital that should come to Nigeria had gone to some other parts of Africa. So what does that mean for us going forward? Are we going to then invest in having a predictable fiscal and regulatory system and improve security and social license to ensure that investors indeed are ready to come into Nigeria? The issue usually is that you would find that the environment, the investment climate is not conducive enough for people to operate, or there is no sanctity of contract, and so people enter into contract and then things change down the line. So it's important that government demonstrates that they are really ready to play fair and square on this game, and then they're able to attract the right investors. I think that very critical to having those numbers achieved, right? So again, it's ambitious, but it's achievable if some of those conditions are met, and if we can begin to implement these reforms in a credible way and very quickly at that.
Well, it's no news that Nigeria's production to reserve ratio remains low. So talk to us, in your own opinion, beyond what the government is currently doing, what again must be done, or what other recommendations do you have for boosting production?
Well, I think the first is to not just depend solely on the deep water fields where we have very huge investments or capital outlay that are required to ensure that those works. What's happening with our marginal fields or the dormant fields? I think government needs to revitalize those conversations as well. It's also important to then begin to have conversations around reservoir management, the conversations around digital twins on how to improve those mature fields and to boost recovery from them. I think overall it's important to strengthen the fight against corruption and, of course, ensure that there is transparency when it comes to revenue generation and declaration or disclosure, so that we can have the right people coming into the market and saying that, yes, indeed, we think that Nigeria is ready for business. And if there is any other thing to do, I think it's important to also prioritize gas infrastructure development to ensure that we're doing a lot with respect to our gas to power projects and complement those fiscal reforms. So if we're going to lift the production from where it is right now, we've got to boost a lot of confidence in the market and investors to be ready to put their monies into the Nigerian market and ensure that going forward, things are not the usual.
Right. Temitope Kolade, thank you so much for your time and your thoughts on Business Edge today.
Thanks for having me.
I've been speaking with Temitope Kolade, Assistant Director, Oil, Gas and Power, Anderson, Nigeria.
Are busy adding up their dollars, pounds. Those in power are busy celebrating, remembering their past and what have you. Those who are out of power, who are looking to come to power, are also busy putting their weapons together, inciting content creators, news organization, media, wherever, inciting them to start insulting people, just causing unnecessary distraction, or to buy time. As we are selfish, we, the educated ones, the exposed ones, the political animals, we group ourselves into three. I've been at two self. Insult, insult, insult. Those with the power are celebrating. CPC gather, assuring Tinubu that they make you no worry. Those who wants to come to power, the obese, the dirties, and co, the concosos, are busy just issuing threats from one platform to another, from one TV news, newspaper, just issuing threats. The voters are left to their fate. When 2 minutes to event, everybody will begin flex muscle. And if the voters not look your way, you turn to insults. The same way all over. They leave the people to their fate after all. Now they make the wrong choice. So why the Tunubus are busy celebrating their budget, celebrating their policies. After all, those policies are being hailed all over the world. They are yielding dividends. Private sectors are expanding their reach to Brazil, to France, to America. They're just spreading their tentacles. So everybody is happy, except the majority, the people. Nobody cares. A few months from now, Bola Tinubu will look their side and start sending money, sharing 5,000. 5,000. Why those who want to come to power, as I said, are busy issuing threats. Issuing threats. They forget the people. They are just buying time. They all belongs to one party, and that party is powered by oil. They are just buying time. After all, na turn by turn. Don't just die. If you no die, we shall get to your turn. Uncle Zome Johnny PC Jibril. I don't know why this is news. It's not news. They just wait for the main time. Remember, I said 2023 is about Obi versus the North. Tinubu is not a threat to any of them. Tinubu will do his second term. But the North, collectively, they will make sure Obi presidential ambition dies here in 2027. That's now one side of the struggle for the northern political presidential aspirant. The other one is who is going to be lucky enough to be anointed, to get the anointing of the power brokers in the north as his consensus candidate. So that's what Konkoso is doing. Konkoso wants to join the ruling party and walk his way from inside. Atiku saw say, come, the story needs to change. We can't be doing the same story again. I have to form a new coalition. He's doing that. While Obi is still holding his cards to his chest. The idea that he's not going to get a political party is bunkum. That's not happening. It will. But they just need to play it safe before they go finish out. This is Jibril, that's a former spokesperson to Tinubu during his campaign before he joined his Oga Konkoso. Abdul Mumini Jibril has refused to rule out the possibility that former Kano State Governor Rabi Konkoso may still join APC. I don't know why. That's the only way. You can't go anywhere. There's no space again. In fact, Obi chances are better than him in terms of creating a new political party outside this current arrangement. So if he no join APC, it's finished. NNPP, he will not be able to pull up the same performance. So there's no need of contesting 2027. Going to a major the ruling party, and build your case from the inside. Speaking on Wednesday during Channel television interview, we could go see the interview self. Let's see the interview. Let's hear the interview. Because all these are journalists. They have their audience that they cut out to day in, day out. Let's see where Abdi Money will come to play channels. Let's see what they got. Abdi they never right here. Is it? Is that actually the right one, sir? No, I don't think so. Right there. So let's see. Let's hear the eye. What is going on?
President Tinubu says he's glad today that the Nigerian economy is now stabilized. And the DSS has arraigned 9 individuals identified as prime suspects in connection with the recent wave of killings in Benue and Plateau states. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I am Sean Kimale here in Abuja. Let's begin tonight by letting you know that there was a protest today. Members of the Indigenous Contractors Association of Nigeria blocked the entrance of the Ministry of Finance in Abuja, protesting the non-payment of funds for contracts they executed for the federal government. Protesters carried placards with various inscriptions demanding for the immediate payment of money owed for completed projects since 2024. The protesters denied members of staff entrance into the ministry, and the minister and his convoy was also not allowed to enter through the main gates.
We had a meeting with the General of the Federation last week, Wednesday, and he promised us that all finalized payments will drop into the beneficiary's account within 48 hours.
All right. Let's also let you know that President Bola Tinubu says his administration is taking bold economic decisions and reforms are ongoing. According to him, the aim is to restore Nigeria to its enviable position and achieving favorable results, bringing respect to the country from across the globe. The president said this when he received the traditional ruler of Ogbomosho, the Shong of Ogbomosho, where the president said the country has confronted again, the nation was confronted with arbitrage trading of currency and illusion of selling papers, corruption all over the place, and the integrity of the country and its economy being extremely and adversely challenged, according to the president. Quote, "We are to take those actions with your prayers, patience, perseverance, and great understanding. I'm glad to tell you today that the economy is now stabilized. The bleeding has stopped, the hemorrhage is gone, the patient is alive." Those are some of those things the president told those who came with the Shon of Ogbomosho. And of course, earlier today, the governor of Nasarawa State, Governor Abdullahi Sule, after meeting with President Bola Tinubu, said that there is no political person, political force that can defeat Bola Tinubu in the 2027 election. We'll be bringing you some of the highlights right here on the program. But let's tell you that the DSS seems to be very now swift, at least what we have seen under the Oluwatosin Ajayi time at the DSS. So what we have seen is that you heard about the Yawata, Benue, and Yawata attacking Benue State, and some of the attacks you saw in Plateau State. It's interesting now to hear that the federal government, through the DSS, have now arraigned 9 individuals before a federal high court in Abuja over the alleged complicity in recent killings in Benue and Plateau State. One of the 9, Timna Manjor, pleaded guilty to 2 of the charges of illegal possession of arms filed against him. The others, named as defendants in 6 separate charges, took turns to enter their pleas to the allegations raised against them, including unlawful possession and dealing in firearms, assisting in terrorism activities, among others. Those arraigned are Tekende Ashuwa, 46-year-old, Amos Alede, 44-years-old, named in the charge, Mark FHC, ABJCR 448 2025. Others are Aruna Adamu, 26, Mohammed Abdullahi, 48, Alima Aliru Usman, 32. Others are Timna Manjo, 46 years old, and Nambo Tali, 75 years old. Manjo was the one who pleaded guilty to 2 of the 4 counts contained in the charge, of which he was arraigned with Talu, where the report contains offenses and particular charges. One defendant, Tima, pleaded guilty to counts 1 and 3 and not guilty to 2 and 4, while the others pleaded not guilty, and suspect are to remain in the DSS custody. Particularly interesting to know that the arrest, which has become swift, and the investigation commenced and trial have now started, which is a character that we are now seeing in under the Oluwatosin Ajayi, since the assumption of office in terrorism-related offenses. Let's take a listen to one of the lawyers of the DSS.
If you notice what happened in court today, one of the accused pleaded guilty. And that goes to tell you that before we bring anybody to court, we have done our homework. And for the records, we are still investigating this crime. We'll only see swift dispensation of justice under this current administration. And before I forget, today we have filed a new 5-count charge against another defendant in the Plateau crisis. And this goes to show you that we are not relenting in our fight against this insecurity that is currently ravaging our country.
All right, let's get talking to that. My guest tonight is someone you know very well. I mean, since the flyer came out, a lot of people are wondering what the conversation will be. It's no holds barred. And there are fundamental questions tonight. Is enough united against President Bola Tinubu? Or are the rumblings just political noise? Is the debate being stirred up in the Nigerian political landscape, raising concern within the APC over issues of power rotation, accusation of lopsided federal appointment, stalled projects, and the worsening issues of security, issues raised on poverty across some northern parts of the country, and prominent voices who have argued that the North has been shortchanged under the Tinubu administration, raising fears of a looming gang-up that could shape the road to 2027. I'm being joined by one of the most senior members in the National Assembly, a 4-time member of the House of Representatives, a member of the NNPP in Kano State, Honorable Abdulmumin Jibrin is the chair of the House Committee on Housing and Habitat. It's live for us here in our studio. Thanks so much indeed, Honorable, for joining us.
Thank you very much, Sean.
A lot of people think that you have been quiet in recent times.
I get very surprised when people think I'm quiet, but I think maybe they try to draw a bit of a comparison with the Jibrin of the last 15 years.
The younger
version of the Jibrin and the rest. But otherwise, I've been pretty active.
You're a Kwankwasi at heart.
Oh, absolutely.
Your cap says as much.
Absolutely. I'm Kwankwasi. I'm NNPP. That's it.
What I mean, I thought that well, you're from Kano State, but what we heard was that Kwankwanso was on his way to the APC. What stalled it?
Well, I don't know, but I think the appropriate thing to say, or maybe to ask, is perhaps where we are and where we are headed to. But as far as that is actually concerned, I'm pretty sure you heard his last comment. He's always maintained that his doors are open and our doors are open for discussions and everything. It's a possibility.
I know that there's a relationship between Kwankwanso and President Bola Tinubu. Yeah. That also has caused some kind of division within the political landscape in Kano State. There are those who believe that how would the president manage a Kwankwanso coming into the APC and a Ganduje, who is the leader of the party, who is just exited as a national chairman of the party? Does that personally give you a concern?
Well, of course, it gives me a lot of concern. But the interesting thing is that my opinion has always been known by everyone, and I've tried to ensure that in the interest of Kano and by extension the interest of Nigeria, that there's some sort of stability in our polity. It's quite a complex process when you look at it. Taking it for granted, for instance, if you say Kwankwanso is moving to APC or we are moving to APC, even within the APC in Kano, you have a lot of people that wouldn't want him to come. Perhaps those who want to be governor or those who don't want to be governor, etc. I wouldn't want to go too deep into that. But again, the discussions are still going on. But for me, everyone knows that I've always advocated even right from the beginning of the government, for us to work out a government of national unity. I never stopped at that. I felt offended myself by Ganduje. Of course, everybody knew what happened. But still, I try to make sure that there's some sort of peace between himself and Kwankwaso. But I did my best to see that, and I believe it's in their own mutual interest. But at the end of the day, it's the decision of Kwankwaso and Ganduje to decide how they want to go about it is. And I tell you this, I do that not for even political reasons. I do that even for moral reasons, for peace to prevail, for things to go on. Then talking about the issue of the alliance or merger or anything and rest, as I said, I don't want to go too deep into that in order not to preempt any processes. It's difficult, but what I keep saying all the time, so long as it's human beings that are involved, everything it's a possibility.
So the door of there's still a likelihood that Kwankwaso joins the APC. Is not that conversation is not closed.
It's not closed, and he's never said it is. He's never said it's closed.
So because what the implication is that Kano gave President Bola Tinubu over almost 530 million votes,
yes.
1,000 votes rather, out of the over 1 million votes that was up for contest in that state. It means a lot. Yeah. It means that if Kwankwaso goes, the governor of Kano State almost will go. The NNPP, the Kwankwasia movement will almost go into the APC. Where Kwankwaso goes, his supporters go with him. It means a lot, isn't it? And that's why a lot of people are keeping tabs on whether or not, and what exactly is stalling. Now, you have told us
absolutely
that is the Ganduje and those who have ambition of governor that is stalling. Stalling.
You know we've come a long way. Don't put words in my mouth. I did not say it is the Ganduje's. I never said that.
You said those who have ambition.
What I said is that even within the APC in Kano, you could have you may have a situation where you will have some vested interest that wouldn't want us to come in, maybe because of their own interest, somebody wanted to be governor or whatever, and the rest. That does it. But there is even much more than that in reality. Talking about how formidable it is, yes, Kwankwasia, it's very formidable, a very strong movement. It's actually a movement. But I like to put in a lot of modesty whenever I talk about humility, whenever I talk about that, because when it comes to politics, nobody is indispensable.
Would you go out of the NNPP without Kwankwaso going first?
No. But the one thing we want you to understand is that at my age, particularly age, I think I'm old enough to make decisions for myself.
That means that there is a likelihood that you move to the APC.
Well, I keep saying everything, it's a possibility.
Are you having that conversation?
Why
so let me give context. So when I'm asking this question, you understand that it comes with a whole lot of historical and a lot of understanding that comes with the question. You are one of the very first persons that came out to say you were supporting and rooting for President Bola Tinubu. Yes. In fact, you remember that I was in Kofa. Absolutely. And I saw the ulamas and the spiritual warriors that you put together, and you said to me on the eve of 2020,
January 2022.
Of 2022, you said to me that Bola Tinubu is going to be president. Yeah. Even when it was not certain I was going to get a ticket, you said to me that all of these, almost 1,000 or so ulamas that you put together, that they were going to be praying for Bola Tinubu. And you've met with the president twice in the last few weeks.
Sorry to interrupt you. Again, I believe I cannot see anything that will stop him from winning election in 2027.
Are you God?
I'm not God. I said, again, I believe. So who do I believe in? God. So I said I believe. I did not say again, I am saying. I say I believe. that I do not see. Maybe because we started the conversation top-bottom. If we had started bottom-top, we would have built up to get to this level.
No, I understand that.
Actually,
a lot of Nigerians are aware of the issues.
And by the way, there is no two words about it. I'm a Tinubu person.
You're a Tinubu man in NNPP.
I'm a Tinubu man. Call it how you want to call it. I'm a Tinubu person.
What was your...
I like him, and he likes me. And I think it's also very important. Even in a working environment, it's quite important that you have a boss that likes you, or you like him, and else. So that's the point. Irrespective of party affiliation, it's been a great relationship.
So you will choose Bola Tinubu ahead of Kwankwaso in the presidential election?
No. I will choose Kwankwaso and Bola Tinubu to work together.
But who did
Tinubu as president?
Who did you?
Because I actually believe that the South should finish the remaining 4 years.
That's what you believe?
Yes. And we were just having the conversation before I walked in here with someone, and we're talking about the arguments. I had someone making arguments in one of the TV channels yesterday, talking about the fact that the North has been shortchanged in terms of the rotation of the presidency. Shehu, I feel terribly embarrassed when I see knowledgeable Northerners of high standing in the society saying that the North has been shortchanged in terms of rotation of power. The North hasn't been shortchanged. The North has had power for 39.5 years. The South had 28 years. Nigeria did not...
Where are you calculating it from? You are calculating from 19... Hold on. No.
Listen.
So that Nigerians can...
Listen. And ask your question. Nigeria started from when? Independence, 1960. That is it. And so you cannot count power from 1999. I think I can look at anybody and tell him that whoever you are, I can look at you and tell you that it is unfair. And you know the danger in it? The former head of states is an insult to them. When a Northerner goes to national television and says Nigeria starts from 1999. Gawan has been was head of state for 9 years. Shagari, 4 years. You don't even include Shagari, Shehu Shagari. Then you have Buhari, 2 years. You have Babangida, 8 years. You have Abacha, 5 years. You have Yar'Adua, 3 years. You have Buhari, 8 years. Do we recognize Babangida as a former president? Yes, we do. Do we recognize Abacha as a former head of state? Yes, we do. Do we recognize Buhari as a former head of state and later former president? Yes, we do. That has never been in contention in this country. So I don't think it's a very good line of argument to place it. Secondly, talking about the unity of the North, I think I'm even far more concerned about that than even the issue of NNPP, because talking about the North in its entirety, for me, it's far more important. To be honest with you, that was why I said to you that I still believe that the president will win in 2027.
How did you come to that?
I don't see that, because now when you say there's a gang up or the North is united, we should stop deceiving ourselves. The North has always united against itself. And it is time for us to tell ourselves the truth. Where's the unity in the North? Where's the unity? For goodness sake, we should search our conscience. Where is the unity in the North? What we've always done, if anybody rise up in the North, we gang up to bring the person down. This is what has been happening. And I'm pretty sure those who they are going to contest, I guess, let me even be specific. The Tinubu that some are saying they're going to contest again, or they are going to defeat him and the rest, must be seated somewhere and smiling, because he can see how disunited we are. Take even the former vice presidents. All these are not things that you might be reading every day on the pages of newspapers. First Vice President Atiku Abubakar. part of the reason that put him on collision with Obasanjo, it was some Northerners that formed a strong bloc. Who are you to assume Northern leadership? You are not the leader in the North. Brought him down. Namadi Sambu faced the same thing. Kashim Shettima facing the same thing. Was Gawan not a military president 9 years? Was it Southerners that took Gawan out of power? No, Northerners. Shagari, democratically elected. Who were those? Who did it? Northerners. Buhari, Northerners. Babangida, oh, they say Buhari too rigid. They brought Babangida. They say Babangida is too soft. It wasn't Nadeko. Nadeko were fighting from, sorry, it was Northerners that put even far more pressure that got Babangida out of power. We keep doing this to ourselves. Abacha came in, brought some of them, made them minister. When he got tired, dropped them from ministers. They ganged up, fought him, got him out of power. Yaradua, what did he go through with Northerners? So when we sit down, I keep saying this thing since they started this argument, oh, Northern interests. I want my brothers and sisters in the North to know. And there are a lot of young people, brilliant people. Our region is so blessed. I tell you this, Sean, believe me, and I'm ready to debate this with anybody, the North is richer than the southern part of Nigeria.
In what sense?
The only thing is that we've not had a situation where we maximize our potentials. In what sense? We have the population, we have the fertile land for agriculture, we have all the minerals and resources you can ever think of. In the southern part of the country, you are talking about only oil and gas. There is no any mineral you think about that you do not have in the northern.
I think every part of the country
in the northern part of let's not make this the purpose of saying this. The purpose of saying this,
depending on where you are standing.
The purpose of saying this is not to create a debate. It's to make you understand that we have huge potentials. So who is deceiving who? Look at a lot of Northerners. Every day we are fighting ourselves on television and the rest. Is it that there are no leaders in the North? Traditional rulers, 19 Northern governors. You will see very prominent Northerners who are those that we should call our leaders, pouring mud at themselves in a public glare. There's some Northerners, some Northern leaders will go behind, clap hand and the rest, play double game. And so the whole of this thing has become so much of toxic and at the expense of the majority of Northerners. So anybody who will come and sit here and say, oh, I'm talking for the North and speaking for the North, nobody is
Give me a moment. Let me jump in quickly, just for a moment.
There is nothing, and I repeat, there is nothing that I have seen in terms of any organization. Look, take for instance now, the PDP that you are talking about. Are they not Northerners that were seated there that flush out Atiku out of the party? So what are you talking about? After that, I didn't
just for a moment. Let me ask you the argument about the North having more time running the affairs of this country, either in military uniform or as a civilian leader in this country. There are those who will say, put that aside, because the argument is a 1999 to date argument, where you had Olusegun Obasanjo 8 years from 1999 to 2007. You had the time of Umaru Yar'Adua cut short by death in office and taking over by Goodluck Jonathan. Buhari came for 8 years. And there are those who will say, well, if you add 5 years of Jonathan to the 8 years of Olusegun Obasanjo, you're going to have about 13 years plus. And now Bola Tinubu has done 2 years, which he will do 4 years in the first term. 4 plus another 13 years, that's going to take you to about 17 years compared to Yar'Adua of about 2 years and Buhari of 8 years. That is about 10 years. There are those who will say, look, anyone can contest whichever part of this country the person is coming from. That in fact, 2027 is the time for another candidate.
How old are you, Sean?
You know, I'm wearing my 40s, so.
No, specifically, how old are you?
I can't say that on television, but okay. My age is out there.
Okay, you are okay. Let's say you are in your 40s. Let's for the purpose of this conversation, let's say you are 40, 41. All right? Can someone start counting your age from 15 or 16?
You are comparing apples with
No.
The
It is not
the comparison.
Can someone start? Can someone start counting your age from 15 or from 16? Can someone start? So let me also ask you the second question. I'm sorry, it's your duty to ask the question today, but it's my own form of answer. It's my own form of
indirect way of answering.
Yes, yes. So what happens now? We'll come back to your theory of 99 to date. So what happens to before 99 to 1960? So we put everything together and throw it in the dustbin. We say Nigeria never existed. Meanwhile, we still talk about certain legacies that all those former presidents and the rest actually did. We make references to them on a daily basis. We put their portraits in public office and the rest. And every day when you talk about former Nigerian head of state, former Nigerian leaders, we list them out. Has anybody been able to delete them? As far as I know, the National Assembly hasn't. The Constitution hasn't. Nothing has changed. So you cannot start counting from 1990. Let's not even make that a subject of a conversation. I feel very embarrassed getting involved in that. You don't even discuss that. It makes no sense. You understand? Anything that makes sense, I will bring it out here today and say it makes sense. But this absolutely makes sense. But you see, my worry is that something very, very strategic happened, but many people are taking it for granted. The Southwest, from Aolo Action Congress to the Second Republic to AD, all the way to AC and everything and the rest, they were all in the region. They were all in that tight corner, and they held their own. But they also understand, for them to be able to have and exercise power over Nigeria and get to do what they want, they have to be in the center. One person took time, strategized with a team, working through his life with a lot of people, and was able to pull that sectional side of the country to the center. Now, my fear with what is happening now is that we should not make a mistake. And sometimes don't overstretch your luck. There's that strong belief that the bulk votes from the Northwest and the Northeast always make a president. Now, you can have a very complicated election where you have a president that will muster sufficient votes from the southern part of the country and the central part of the country, and get what he wants to get from the Northwest and the Northeast and win the election. If he does that, you've pushed the North to opposition. And we are talking about, we are people who have been, people who are good with the center. If you push the North to opposition, how do you now foster development? For the purpose of opposition? No. You do governance or politics or the interests of your people. And that is why I also disagree. When people come, they talk about, yes, insecurity, there is insecurity. Very sensitive issue. Things are happening around the country, here and there. But what I will never agree, no matter how you try to convince me, is now to say a Tinubu of 2 years is the one who has created the entire insecurity problem in Nigeria. It falls. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's false.
Fundamentally, the question I'm asking you tonight
yes,
is
please.
that you are disputing that the North is disunited.
Yeah.
But can you all deny the fact that there are forces in the North who want Tinubu out by all means?
Well, I don't know even why I laughed over this. You're right. But if you take the trajectory of my initial the conversation with you, you will also understand I alluded to that. So it's a team of personalities, individuals, and the rest. On the other hand, there are a couple of them that I believe that could have been managed in a better way. But all the same, yes, truly, there are people in the North that want him out. You will have also people in the southern part of the country that want him out. But at the same time, I tell you this, and take it to the bank, that Tinubu is not an orphan in the north. He has people. He has people in the north. And maybe they are not talking as much as they should, but he has people. So as much as you have people that want him out, you also have people that want him in. And as event keeps unfolding, you will see people who will come here and oppose him, people who will come here and support him, people who will come and oppose, people who will come and support him. So I don't think he's an orphan in the north. And it is dangerous for somebody to actually think Tinubu has no support in northern part of the country. It will be a dangerous calculation.
What did the president tell you? It seems he has brought you over.
So, I'm sorry. Look at how you've made me to burst into laughter on national TV. I think at my level shown, I would take it as a joke. But it's an expensive.
I'm serious.
No, it's an expensive. It's an expensive.
You're not able to tell us what the president told you.
Why I'm saying I'm taking it as a joke, because I also saw a bit of a smile. I see a bit of smile in your face and the rest on your face, and so I'm going to take it as a
I'm serious.
As a joke.
I've not asked you any joking question.
Now, on the issue of the president bought me and the rest, what is surprising about what I'm saying? What is new?
So what did he tell you?
I'm asking you, what is new?
I'm asking you, what did he tell you?
No, but you are saying...
He must have told you something
I think you were...
that have made you an NNPP member and in opposition.
I don't want to interrupt
Start
you.
Preaching about a candidate and the president that is from the APC.
Absolutely.
There's something must have happened.
Okay, thank you. Please allow me, to gently answer you. What I'm trying to explain to you is that what am I saying now that I have not said in the last 3 years? So why is it new to you?
Before you joined the NNPP?
No, but what is new?
It's new because you're an opposition member. All of a sudden, you are preaching.
No. What I'm doing is I'm giving an objective analysis. And I could as well say, as you are saying to me, I sound like somebody who has been bought by the president. I could say, oh, you sound like somebody who has been paid to make sure that he puts me in a corner. Have you been paid?
I should be asking you.
No, have you been paid?
You are the politician, I'm the journalist.
Have you been paid to corner me in this interview?
Do they pay journalists to do their jobs? We do their jobs normally. You are the politician. You are the guys. You are the guys who trade in on those kind of things.
Do you hear that? Let's not go into that. Let's focus on the issue, because if we go into that, I might offend you and offend the profession that I hold so highly of our journalism. We're all in Nigeria. They're good Nigerians, they're bad Nigerians, they're Nigerians that do good things, they're Nigerians that do bad things. But the point that I'm trying to make is that there's nothing that I'm saying now that is new.
Why is it difficult for you to tell us what conversation you had with the president? Or is it a personal conversation?
And now look at, that is why I say when you have access to someone, you can understand when somebody doesn't have access to someone and then he comes and criticizes him and the rest. But when you have access to someone, it is not everything, it's not all the conversation that you discuss that you put in the public glare. But again, one interesting thing is that I think those who have related with the president or are relating with him now from a very, very close range will understand the way people view him from far. That's not who completely. That's not who he is. Sound individual. He knows what he's doing. When you sit with, I'm not saying this because I want to praise him or anything. Yeah, you might look at physically you look at him, but when you sit with him and he takes you through, or you talk and he responds to you one-on-one and break down issues in bits and pieces, and before you go to step 1, he has already thought of step 2, step 3, step 4, you will understand that this is somebody that understands what.
So he's mentally sound.
He's mentally sound.
Give me a moment, Honorable. We need to go on a break. But when we come back, there are other fundamental issues that I would like to delve into. Issues relating to the VP Shetima, and those are asking President Bola Tinubu to drop him. Well, what options does he have? Well, we're going to be talking also about the Kano politics, what it means for 2027, the ADC and the opposition coalition, and 20. Thanks so much, everyone, for staying with us. Let's get back into the conversation with Honorable Abdulmumin Jibrin. Thanks so much, Honorable, for joining us tonight. You heard what Malam Nasir El-Rufai said about the issue of insecurity and the accusation that he made about how he thinks the federal government is handling, although the federal government has come out to say he's not paying bandits in the insecurity situation. How concerning do you think this is?
Okay, first I tell you this, which was the last thing I said before we went on break, and I think it covers for this. I think it's absolutely wrong for anybody to give an impression that the security challenges that the North or any part of the country, for that matter, is faced with at the moment is the fault of Tinubu. Whose fault is it? Inherited a government that was in power for 8 years, another one in power for 5 years, before then another one in power for 8 years, before then another in power for 5 years, 8 years, 2 years, 4 years, 3 years, 9 years, all the way down the line. Then out of that, about 60 or 70 years or so, you are saying, Sheung, you are saying is somebody who came 2 years, you want to pack everything and put on him, not only on security, even on economic issue, on education, on the health care, the general progress of the country. I find it unfair. I find it absolutely unfair.
Who should Nigerians then blame? Because this is the person who said Nigerians gave him the job.
No, listen. There is nothing wrong in you saying, look, this is where we're getting things wrong. Why don't we do it this way? But I have watched with keen interest a pattern in a lot of people that have come, without anybody specific in mind, a lot of people that have come to do interview here. You always ask them this intelligent question because they hammer about the problem. Then I notice you do this very smartly. You always ask that, if you are the one, what will you do as a solution? I find it very difficult to get people who give answers to that. So the president has been there for 2 years, and you want to pack everything and say he destroyed the economy, he destroyed the educational system, he destroyed the healthcare system, he destroyed the water system, he destroyed our social values, everything and the rest, just within 2 years. There is nothing wrong in complaining. There's nothing wrong in pointing out. I also used to point out issues to them. And you know something? He listens. And this is, but again, you have to go with superior argument. So if you know the president, you have to know that when you go to engage him, you have to go with superior
Does the president
arguments.
look to you like someone who is in touch with what the average Nigerian people are saying?
A president will, to the extent of the information that he gets. But again, once you are the president, Sheung, this organization channels, just even within this office, I'm pretty sure you are not in touch with everyone in this office. I'm pretty sure you are not in touch with everyone. You walk in, focus on the few people that they have to do with your job. Maybe perhaps you're walking on the corridor, you see somebody, you say, hello, how are you? I haven't even seen you for a while. Fear God, maybe in this same building, you've said to someone who comes in here every day, not to talk about somebody who sits to superintend over 200 million people. There are certain things he will hear. He's also human. He will get tired. He will sleep.
But he told us that he asked for the job, and that is the conversation.
And that is the conversation.
So, and is it bad? Just a moment. When Nigerians look at
because you are taking a chunk of the
let me ask a question. It's a question that is an interview, and I'm asking you, Honorable, if you come into office and you met something in a certain state, and 2 years later it has astronomically declined or gone in the negative, don't Nigerians have the right to speak up that our lives were better before you took over government? And that's why that's the argument. Are the lives of the Nigerian people better now than 2 years ago?
Easy.
It's like a case of somebody to put a fire in a house, and the fire has gone all the way to about 90% of the house, and somebody comes in to put off the fire, and a bit of the debris of it still persists. Then you come and say you want to hold that person who just came in responsible. You see, you hit so hard on this, and the point I'm making is one point, and I will continue to stand on that point. Yes, there are challenges, but again, believe me, they're working. Now, when you talk about the security situation, there's no government. It doesn't even make sense for you to say a government will sit down and fold its arms while its citizens are being shot and the rest, or being killed by bandits and the rest. So much is going on. But what I said to you is that I did not say nobody should criticize the president. But the pattern it has taken is that it is being presented as if this man has always been and is the problem of Nigeria. And he's just
the president said,
so if
said
you say, look, if you say, oh, okay, subsidy was removed, I've argued this on this channel. A lot of presidential candidates actually believe that, but I also said that it appears that we underestimated the impact of the removal of the subsidy. You are talking about, yes, difficulties. Yeah, sometimes there will be difficulties, then ease comes. Yesterday, but how do you make it in your preview that the president made that comment? You see, that singular action of saying we've met our revenue
target
and we are no longer borrowing from domestic market. Believe me, even a chairman, when I was chairman finance all the way to appropriations, this is what we kept hammering. How government will exit domestic market. You know, for someone who doesn't know, will not understand the consequences. That is what you call the crowding out effect. And our economy has suffered so much from the crowding out effect. Because what happens was that year after year, government goes to domestic market, mop up the money, and the banks have no money to lend to real sector. So, but for people who understand the issues, they know that a very solid foundation is being built. If you go back to the documents of our MTF arguments and the rest in the past, and then severally we've also designed a plan to exit domestic market 10 years ago. So it's such a, look, it's such a good news to see that, yeah, you could have the temporary difficulty and the rest, but we are getting on a solid
So the question here is that I'm willing to...
By the way, you are talking about now the industrial the revolution, promoting productions, whatsoever you have, and production, most of these things comes from facilities, from bank. Before, why they are not able to give, they only loan to oil and gas where they know that they are going to have instant this. They give it just a moment. They give it to government, make their money at double interest rate. But now they will have excess liquidity to be able to give to the real sector.
Just a moment. And I know as a politician, a lot of people come to you.
Yeah.
Oh, school fees. Oh, hospital bill. Oh, we cannot feed. Oh, we have a problem. And and I'm very sure that if you make comparison between those who collect money from you today compared to 2-3 years ago, you probably see that maybe there are changes. The question I'm asking, and I'm not a blind, I'm not even a critic of the government. I'm just a journalist who do my job in holding government accountable, as Section 22 of the Constitution has asked us to do, that we hold our government accountable to the Nigerian people. So I'm just naturally doing my job. So I'm not even a critic of government. So and I'm asking the question is, how do we then tie things together? I see what government is doing right. I know when they talk about NEL fund, what Akinwumi Sawyer is doing, Akinwumi Sawyer is doing, and how many hundreds of Nigerians who are taking the loan to be able to go to school. I know what Uzoma in Credit Corps, how they're giving Nigerians opportunity to be able to buy what they cannot afford naturally, credit to be able to do that. I see things that are happening that are good. We applaud this government. But the question is that how do you connect the dots? When all of these things are happening and the bottom line, on the food on the table, the money in the pocket of the average person is not reflected.
Two things I am going to say. But I'm trying to choose my word very carefully in order not to be misquoted, and secondly, in order not to sound insensitive to the plight of Nigerians. But let me also tell you something. Let me ask you a question. In 1990, is it possible for an individual in Nigeria to be worth $10 billion?
Go ahead, because of time.
These are economic reality. They are trajectory. The value of a property in 1990 is not the same in 2000, it's not the same 2010. The volume of money, even our national budget, the first development plan, 1962 to 1968, how much was the total sum in pounds, the sterling, or whatever, 50, 100 million, or thereabout? How much is our budget today, our national budget today? So why are you not asking that why is it that the entire budget of the country 30 years, 40 years ago is 1 billion or 2 billion or 5 billion, and today it is 50 trillion? Why are you not asking about that? These are certain realities about life. Things continue to appreciate, more money comes into the hands, and things go, inflation comes in, and things takes that direction. The second issue I also want to tell you is that we always tend to forget this. And I was having a conversation just a few days with my elder sister, and we were having this kind of conversation, and I said, but come to think of it, I was a child growing up. So the first government that I started hearing and understanding that there's a government in Nigeria is Shagari, as a little child growing up. But I also know, even at that time, I could hear my parents saying, you can hear conversations with neighbors and everything, that the situation in the country is so bad. Then the next government will come. They will say the situation is worst. Then the next government will, can we continue like that in this country? We need to have some kind of national consensus, some kind of understanding that this is the development trajectory that we are going to take. And one of the big challenge of development, sustainable development, there's no continuity. If you look at both the development plans, the rolling plans, development plan from 1962 all the way to the 1985, then you talk about the rolling plan, 1990, 1992, 1993, 1998, the needs, or a 7-point agenda, everything till date, you will see similarities in all. But so long as you do not have sustainable continuity, somebody built an upper, somebody comes after that, throw it away.
We need to take another break, Honorable. Yeah.
So all the bits and pieces of these issues, you need to put them together for it to make sense.
We'll go on another break, but when we come back, the VP Shetima, the power balancing in the APC, and what some northern leaders are saying about Muslim ticket, we get our attention when we come back from this break. Join us again. So much, everyone. Our closing moment with Honorable Abdulmumin Jibrin. Why is this clamor? There are some people in the North Central, in the APC, saying that President Tinubu should have a change in going into 2027. And the question will be, what option study does he have?
I will not advise him to accede to that. And I have my reasons. If you like that the president, for the fact that I like the president does not mean that I cannot disagree with him on some issues and the rest, and he is large-hearted enough to accommodate dissenting views. I think anybody who would advise the president at this point to think about that has no interest of the president at heart. And I've said this repeatedly, because if you weigh the implication, not because of how Shetima will react if that happens, but multiple issues that will come up if you decide to do a replacement, you will kneel down and beg that it is better that you stay the way you are. If you're thinking about changing the ticket, then again, you bring yourself back to the Muslim issue debate. So you get to a junction where people will now say, oh, this is the time for you to correct it and do something else. Then again, you open up conversation about is it going to be northwest or is it going to be northeast and the rest. Then again, if you reduce it down again, it goes down to personalities. Many people who are interested. Perhaps some of them are even the ones sponsoring the whole of these things. But in any case, as the president said he's going to replace the budget, no, he hasn't said that. But again, is it a good approach or will it be a good thing to do? Absolutely.
We need to close. Arufai said yes. The president Tinubu would come third.
Yeah, you know, the interesting is that I don't know why you keep bringing back Arufai. I tell you something. I'm a huge fan of his. Incidentally, I'm a huge fan of his, and I would have wanted a situation where he's managed in a better way, because I can describe him as a committee of one. So it's somebody who alone can get a lot of things done. But particularly when you narrow it to the context of his disagreement with the National Security Advisor, that is where I blame northern leaders. When they come out to talk about power, Rufai, Ribadu, you cannot go in and resolve the issue. What should be in his party and the rest. But throwing stones at each other, you know, you stop it. Right. Two very distinguished northerners. Right. Ribadu, fantastic. And I tell you this, and that is where I disagree with Rufai. In my own opinion, if you take away, we're totally out of time. If you take away, we're totally out of time. Ribadu, in my opinion, it's the best NSA this country has ever had.
Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.
Abdulmumin Jibrin, a member of the House of Reps. That's our conversation tonight. I'm sure Kimale. God bless Nigeria.
I never stop at that. I felt offended myself by Ganduje. Of course, everybody knew what happened. But still, I try to make sure that there's some sort of peace between
issues raised on poverty across some
version of the brain and the rest. But otherwise, I've been pretty active.
You're a Kwankwasia at heart.
Oh, absolutely.
Your cap says as much.
Absolutely. I'm Kwankwasia. I'm NMPP. That's it.
Well, I mean, I thought that you're from Kano State, but what we heard was that Kwankwasia was on his way to the APC. What stalled it?
Well, I don't know, but I think the appropriate thing to say, or maybe to ask, is perhaps where we are and where we are headed to. But as far as that is actually concerned, I'm pretty sure you heard his last comment. He's always maintained that his doors are open, and our doors are open for discussions, and everything. It's a possibility.
I know that there's a relationship between Kwankwasia and President Bola Tinubu. Yeah. That also has caused some kind of division within the political landscape in Kano State. There are those who believe that how would the president manage a Kwankwasia coming into the APC and a Ganduje, who is the leader of the party, who is just exited as a national chairman of the party? Does that personally give you a concern?
Well, of course, it gives me a lot of concern. But the interesting thing is that my opinion has always been known by everyone, and I've tried to ensure that in the interest of Kano, and by extension the interest of Nigeria, that there's some sort of stability in our polity. It's quite a complex process when you look at it. Taking it for granted, for instance, if you say Kwankwasia is moving to APC, or we are moving to APC, even within the APC in Kano, you have a lot of people that wouldn't want him to come. Perhaps those who want to be governor, or those who don't want to be governor, etc. I wouldn't want to go too deep into that. But again, the discussions are still going on. But for me, everyone knows that I've always advocated, even right from the beginning of the government, for us to work out a government of national unity. I never stop at that. I felt offended myself by Ganduje. Of course, everybody knew what happened. But still, I try to make sure that there's some sort of peace between himself and Kwankwaso. But I did my best to see that, and I believe it's in their own mutual interest. But at the end of the day, it's the decision of Kwankwaso and Ganduje to decide how they want to go about it is. And I tell you this, I do that not for even political reasons. I do that even for moral reasons, for peace to prevail, for things to go on. Then talking about the issue of the alliance or merger or anything and the rest, as I said, I don't want to go too deep into that in order not to preempt any processes. It's difficult, but what I keep saying all the time, so long as it's human beings that are involved, everything it's a possibility.
So the door of there's still a likelihood that Kwankwaso joins the APC. Is not that conversation is not closed.
It's not closed, and he's never said it is. He's never said it's closed.
So because what the implication is that Kano gave President Bola Tinubu over almost 530 million votes, or
yes.
I mean thousands votes rather, out of the over 1 million votes that was up for contest in that state. It means a lot. Yeah. It means that if Kwankwaso goes, the governor of Kano State almost will go. The NNPP, the Kwankwasia movement will almost go into the APC. Where Kwankwaso goes, his supporters go with him. It means a lot, isn't it? And that's why a lot of people are keeping tabs on whether or not, and what exactly is stalling. And you have told us that is the Ganduje and those who have ambition of governor that is stalling. Stalling.
You know we've come a long way. Don't put words in my mouth. I did not say it is the Gandujes. I never said that.
You said those who have ambition.
What I said is that even within the APC in Kano, you could have a situation. You may have a situation where you will have some vested interest that wouldn't want us to come in, maybe because of their own interest, somebody wanted to be governor or whatever, and the rest. That does it. But there is even much more than that in reality. Talking about how formidable it is, yes, Kwankwasia, it's very formidable, a very strong movement. It's actually a movement. But I like to put in a lot of modesty whenever I talk about humility, whenever I talk about that, because when it comes to politics, nobody is indispensable.
Would you go out of the NNPP without Kwankwaso going first?
No. But the one thing I want you to understand is that at my age, particularly age, I think I'm old enough to make decisions for myself.
That means that there is a likelihood that you move to the APC.
Well, I keep saying everything, it's a possibility.
Are you having that conversation?
Why
so let me give context. I mean, sorry, when I'm asking this question, you understand that it comes with a whole lot of historical and a lot of understanding that comes with the question. You are one of the very first persons that came out to say you were supporting and rooting for President Bola Tinubu. Yes. In fact, you remember that I was in Kofa. Absolutely. And I saw the ulamas and the spiritual warriors that you put together, and you said to me on the eve of 2020,
January 2022.
Of 2022, you said to me that Bola Tinubu is going to be president. Yeah. Even when it was not certain I was going to get a ticket, you said to me that all of these, almost 1,000 or so ulamas that you put together, that they were going to be praying for Bola Tinubu. And you've met with the president twice in the last few weeks.
Sorry to interrupt you. Again, I believe I cannot see anything that will stop him from winning election in 2027.
Are you God?
I'm not God. I said, again, I believe. So who do I believe in? God. So I said, I believe. I did not say, again, I am saying. I say, I believe. that I do not see. Maybe because we started the conversation top-bottom. If we had started bottom-top, we would have built up to get to this level.
No, I
don't see.
I understand that.
Actually,
a lot of
do not
Nigerians
see.
are aware of the issues.
And by the way, there is no two words about it. I'm a Tinubu person.
You're a Tinubu man in NNPP.
I'm a Tinubu man. Call it anyhow you want to call it. I'm a Tinubu person.
What was your?
I like him, and he likes me, and I think it's also very important. Even in a working environment, it's quite important that you have a boss that likes you, or you like him, and so that's the point. Irrespective of party affiliation, it's been a great relation.
So you will choose Bola Tinubu ahead of Kwankwaso in the presidential election?
No. I would choose Kwankwaso and Bola Tinubu to work together.
But who did you?
Tinubu as president?
Who did you?
Because I actually believe that the South should finish the remaining 4 years.
That's what you believe.
Yes, and we're just having.
So, I don't hear it now. You heard it. Kwankwaso will work with Tinubu in APC. He don't get choice. And he heard him too. The fight is about who is going to lead APC in Kano. That's the fight between Ananguje. Yes, you could say you don't start with these fights. They don't fight they come yet. But at this point, this is the chapter they are in now. Somebody got to lead. How Kwankwaso go to work within the structure of the party if he no be leader coming from a state that is that important, even after having a governor? Does it make sense? So, ladies and gentlemen, you just wake up one morning, you will hear say Kwankwaso and Kwankwaso now, and by extension, the whole Kano state is now APC. That time, those people where they talk say not no go vote for Tinubu, they will now understand what I've been trying to say, that it's not about Tinubu, but Obi. Ladies and gentlemen, let me catch a life. Let me go live life.